Hi, good afternoon. This is David. Several months ago, the director of WHO, Dr. Tedros Adhanom, has announced that he has been cyberbullied by the haters of Taiwan for months and that he had raised the concern of racism. This was actually a shock to people around the world because Taiwan is famous for its friendliness. After the conference, President of Taiwan Tsai Ing-wen has soon posted that Taiwan is a country that accepts every culture and has nothing to do with racism. Both of these two opposite sides stand their grounds, and soon there's a myth coming whether Taiwan is friendly enough to foreigners. So, Taiwanese people are friendly enough to foreign people. This is the Mythbuster issue today. To find out the truth, we have interviewed some foreign people who have lived or stayed in Taiwan for a period of time. Now, let's go dig out the truth.
Okay. May I know your name first?
James Barton Rollins.
How long have you been in Taiwan?
A long time. I think it's 25, 26 years.
25.
Since 1995.
So, based on your experience in daily life, do you think Taiwanese people are friendly to foreign people?
Yeah, they are friendly, but it's a different kind of friendliness from the friendliness that I grew up in my culture in America. You know, America's a lot of different cultures. But overall, yes, I would say they're friendly.
Do you have any story that makes you feel Taiwanese are friendly?
Well, there are two things that I've noticed mostly about Taiwanese, and that is if you obviously need help, the Taiwanese will help you. There's a good case that happened to me, just a few years after I first came here. So maybe the second or third year that I was here, I was in Taipei, and I had some boxes that were full of books, really heavy, and I had like four of them, and I got caught in a situation where I had to change buses, and for me to get all the boxes from one bus to the next bus was really difficult, and so I'd have to take two boxes to the bus and put them down, and then go back and get some other boxes. And a young lady, she must have been a student, came up, and she didn't speak English much at all, but she made me understand that she wanted to help me with the boxes. So she did. She helped me with the boxes, even though they're quite heavy. And that kind of thing happened a number of times, but that was one time when it really struck me, because it wasn't easy for her to do that, but she did. And she didn't know who I was. Of course, she probably assumed that I was a professor, but I've had other experiences like that too, in trains. Usually, young men, especially in trains, will be very polite. They'll want me to take their seat. If the train is really crowded, they'll offer their seat to me. Things like that. So yeah, I've had a lot of experiences of that sort.
And for another question, in your daily life, have you ever felt to be, discriminated by Taiwanese people?
Well, distinguished would be a better word. I mean, discriminated in when we use the term discrimination in America, we say discriminated against. In other words, made to feel inferior, or like people don't trust you, or people don't like you. That really has almost never happened to me in Taiwan. The only thing that's kind of funny is that once in a while, a little kid will say "dabi" to me or something like that, and so, but that doesn't bother me because it doesn't have any effect on me really. No, it's really the other way around. I've found that the Taiwanese people tend to treat me better than they treat each other, and I think it's partly because I'm older, and because they assume that I'm a teacher or a professor, and that in this society that has a special meaning that it doesn't have in a lot of societies. No, the only thing that ever happens is sometimes I think people are afraid of me, but I don't think physically afraid of me. I think they just, maybe because they don't speak English, or they just feel a little bit funny, because here in this area, of Taiwan. There are not a lot of foreigners, right? So like if I go downtown Chiayi, sometimes people will kind of look at me like this, and they don't mean to be impolite, but in America, looking at people like that, what we call staring at somebody, you don't do that. So it took me time to get used to that. And the other thing is like people pointing at me and saying, you know, 美国人, you know, or something like that. Pointing, again, in my culture is very impolite. So it took me a while to get used to that, but I understand that here that's not impolite. There's nothing wrong with that here, right? So I'm used to it now.
Question. And in your daily life, have you ever felt to be discriminated by Taiwanese because of the identity as a foreigner? 1 is never, 5 is always.
I tend to be between 2 and 3. Can I give a 2.5?
Okay, sure.
Okay, cool. For me, that's because due to the COVID-19 situation, there has been like some very slight feelings of discrimination during my stay here. So, as you know, Europe has a lot of cases right now, and so people like. You can feel it that people are a bit afraid, or used to be a bit afraid to be around someone who has a Western face. So, for example, one time when I was on the train to the north somewhere, the immediate situation when a seat got free that was not next to me, the person sitting next to me would just get up and go to the other seat because they didn't really want to sit next to me.
Oh.
So that was kind of a bit bad feeling.
Okay.
I think now it's getting a lot better. The only kind of it's not a big thing for me generally. I don't feel so stressful about it. The only thing that like sometimes annoys me to hear is like everybody will just assume that you're from the United States, right? So on the streets you will hear like, oh, Megor and something like that, you know, and I'm like, no. Not everybody from the West is from the United States, you know. So that is something that you can like sometimes experience, but I think it's not a big thing. Other than that, I feel
it's not a big
quite
deal,
welcome.
a little bit.
It's a small thing, you know. It's like say you're in Europe and everybody will say, oh, a Chinese person. You know, also to like
Asian,
every Asian is a Chinese person. You know, like you come there, you are Japanese, and I mean Japanese kind of distinctly look different from Chinese. At least now that I experienced it here. But like people will say, oh, it must be a Chinese person. You know, so I think it's kind of the equivalent to that.
我是玉山，
嗨，我是静玲。
那有因为就是侨生的特别的身份，然后有就是什么不同的感受？
我觉得侨生的身份比较多的是会很多人觉得你可能会去对你比较感兴趣，就觉得你是外国人什么的，然后就会问你很多一些可能我们那边会发生的事情，然后和这边比较的事情什么的。
好，那再下一个问题是，你觉得台湾人会歧视外国人的这句话，你觉得1到5分，你给几分？
我觉得2分吧。
哦，那怎么说呢？
就拿那一次，这次疫情的关系好了，然后就看到有人发了一张照片，然后那里面的照片都是我的朋友，就是可能他们没有所谓的安全距离的做，然后就被人家说什么你们侨生为什么不守这个规矩？然后他们就可能觉得我们是从外国来的，我们从别的国家来，我们就把那个病毒带来这里。
所以结论来说，可以大概说，你觉得台湾人大致上好像还蛮好的，但是有一些特别的事件的时候，可能会让你觉得不是特别的友善。
对，但大部分的都还蛮友善的。
way. According to our interview and questionnaire, most foreign people encounter with unfriendly treatment because of the indifference of Taiwanese people, which means Taiwanese people tend not to communicate with them due to the language barriers, and this has caused the ignorance to the foreign people. And due to the outbreak of coronavirus, many people are afraid that the foreign people can bring the virus with them, and the virus has actually deteriorated the situation of xenophobia, which means that most of our interviewees have said that they have been treated with peculiar eyesight due to the outbreak of coronavirus. However, many people still believe that Taiwan is a symbolic of friendliness, which means that they believe the essence of Taiwan is friendly and kind. So, for today's Mythbuster, we can make a conclusion that Taiwan is still famous for its friendliness, and this has been recognized. Thank you for watching our Mythbuster. We'll see you next time.